Try to be empathetic. You know, put myself in the shoes of other people for a short time.
Listening with bowels, elbows on by towels. All the other girls are gone, except the one who's sweeping with an anthem of her own worth keeping. Don't tell her how to win. She's an artist raising extra pay to feed her habits or her jokes or her kid. I wish I did. I don't have that luxury of just dreaming. It makes me so hungry. It was a starry honeymoon. I couldn't wait till June. We eloped in spring, birds would sing. I'm gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we take it higher. Skin was white by the light of the moon. Fears and vices versus lesser wines in her chest. Well, the ghost against cracks she steps on, find a place to rest. Or are we better off like this? It was a starry honeymoon. I couldn't wait till June. We eloped in spring, birds would sing. I'm gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we take it higher. Skin was white by the light of the moon. Spoke it out too soon. Are you for real? Are you the exception? It was a starry honeymoon. I couldn't wait till June. We eloped in spring, birds would sing. I'm gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. Rock down to Electric Avenue. Rock down to Electric Avenue.
Good day and welcome to the Roman Riccio Show. Today I'm going to be chatting with Erika Werry, who is a very talented singer, songwriter, and musician. Welcome to the show, Erika.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So how did you start playing music?
I guess I played trumpet in the high school band until I got braces on my teeth, and that put an end to that. But besides that, I didn't really pick up a guitar or start strumming my own music until I went to Ottawa U. So I was about 21 years old when I first started to play guitar. And so, had a late start at it, but slowly and surely I've improved, and now I have a wonderful band of musicians who play with me. And I write my own songs. It's always been more of a songwriting thing for me, like focusing on like expressing ideas, getting a thought out, and so almost poetry, and then poetry to music. I look at it more like it's the songs. But gradually I have become more of a musician in that like I know what I'm doing. I know what the chords are and that kind of thing, so yeah.
So how did you end up meeting the people in your band?
My bandmates originally, my first band, I should say, formed out of this open stage that I hosted, and it was such a well-known, such a popular open stage at Graffiti's. Around, I guess it was around the year 2000, 1999 maybe even, and every Thursday night at Graffiti's. Sam Grosso still owned it then. There was Mark Sasso from Elliott Brood and Dave Azzolini from the Golden Dogs, and all these like, you know, cast of like amazing guitarists and songwriters would come out and play every Thursday. We had like the different themes. It ran for about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. And we'd have like, you know, one time it was like, let's have a new song every week. But it was a real group of personality, like, you know, a group of friends, I guess, that came every Thursday. And my first band formed out of that night. Ryan Fairhead, and Dave Marcotte would come down. He was a good friend of Ryan's, and that's of Polyester Heart, one of my favorite songwriters around town. But Ryan and Marshall Bureau, who's a really busy drummer around town now. He plays with the Pine Cones. He plays with tons. He's actually, you know, everyone says he'll play with anybody, but he plays with a lot of great musicians. And so Marshall and Ryan and Sandro Cersini was our original bass player, amazing bass player. But he's, I think, gone on to better things, possibly. Sandra, I don't see around anymore, but Ryan and Marshall I still see. And that was sort of the first lineup of the Erika Werry band with myself. And since then, I've had Wes Neal join on double bass. He played on my second record, Time on Our Hands, it's called. And he's amazing. He's amazing. We call him the Velvet Glove, because he's so smooth, you know, on the double bass. And I guess the newest member of the band, which is now called the Alphabet, Erika Werry and the Alphabet, is Kate McLean. And she's a Humber grad. As of, I think, a year ago she graduated. So she graduated in drums and vocals. She did a double major at Humber in the music program. So she's a great backup singer and a drummer. She's amazing. She's kind of like Levon Helm, the female. I don't think she would mind that I said that, so.
So what was it like recording your first big album?
I would want to call, well, I'll have to call the first big one our first one, because it took years. It took years to record, working after after work hours, because we both had like, I say both, it was Ryan Fairhead and I that really made that record, and the credit goes to him for the glowing review we got, for instance, at Now magazine. 4 ends, and but it was just recorded so bit by bit, overdubbed everything. But you know, to his credit, again, he went out and bought the Pro Tools software, bought a good computer, bought a few microphones. I remember he even tried to build a preamp, which was a whole can of worms and nightmare.
Did you end up using the preamp?
We used it. We called it like, oh man, it was so problematic putting that thing together. I didn't have much to do with it, but like building the preamp itself was a big, digression, I guess, from the actual recording of the songs. It took a long time to get that thing built. You know, and it didn't sound much better than one. I think we ended up renting one for some of the recordings. But I mean, there were other things that he bought throughout the process of recording that first record. Nothing Clearer Comes, it's called. He bought a pedal steel, an old, like a vintage pedal steel, and through that experience I learned that the vintage pedal steels, they're really hard to keep in tune. You're better off getting a new one. So there's real pedal steel on one song on that record, and then he resold it. Everything he would resell at a loss, right? Like he's one of those like gear guys. But the album was a success. It's a beautifully like polished, produced album. I love it. As compared to the one we just released and just recorded. That's just us live. Tim Vesely invited us into the Woodshed studio, which is like the Blue Rodeo studio, and set all the microphones up, and we just did everything, no click. So it's like way less perfect than that first record, but it's just how we sound. It's us live at the Woodshed, and ideally for my next album, I really want to make a perfect sounding album, you know, perfect as can be, but recording in that way of like, you know, less time, because you just set the microphones up and just play, like the band plays together. Like that was we've really only done that for this last record.
So if people want to find you on the internet, it's erikawerry.com? And,
Yep.
Is there any other
erikawerry.com
online stuff that you want people to be aware of? Or?
Well, I mean, Erika Werry, there's some videos at YouTube, some live videos. We've only got one official a video that we created intentionally, and there's going to be another one out. Keith Urquhart directed a video for our song What, and it's a funny song, and it's a funny video. I'm doing some ridiculous stuff in the park. Last summer, really hot day, and we recorded one for my song Fishing for fish, as opposed to fishing for anything else. We recorded back in the wintertime, the day that it had snowed, like I don't know how many feet, there was just like a ton of fresh snow. I just called him up and just him and I went around and like I played the guitar like in the snow, and it just had to film the snow. So that's going to be a fun video. He says it's almost done. So
Oh, I see. I haven't seen that because it's not out
it's
yet.
not quite edited. Like he's got the footage, and so he's got to get that one, got to crack the whip on that. But and then besides that, there's some live stuff from our video release, but there's also a lot of live stuff at YouTube, which I mean, like, you know, who put that up there? Like, who asked me about that video? But, you know, it's there. Well, like the dry leaves lying reading underneath the tree. When the sun is shining like you've never seen. Blue and green goes well like the salt swell coming straight across the calm.